All right, welcome to the Alternative Rundown on 89.1 WXVU. Very special guests with us today, Ben, Jesse, and Tommy of Jukebox the Ghost. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. We got some questions for you. Like I said, try not to take yourselves too seriously.
We never do.
But glad to hear it. And you guys got a performance tonight at Villanova, so thanks for coming to that as well.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, first question. You guys have, definitely a positive vibe and sort of an uplifting, message throughout most of your songs. Do you set about making that sort of sound from the start, or does it sort of go?
It's just, Tommy, can you not do this? Trying to give an interview and show our positive
It's a
vibe.
high pollen count.
Oh, trust me, I know.
We don't. Look, it's because. Oh wait, we should derail this interview right from the beginning.
Well, I already did. You did. You're late.
The positive music is to counteract the really unhappy relationships that we have with each other. And so we didn't start out that way, but the music was happy, our relationships crumbled, and then we just kept on.
We love to hear it.
I think it's kind of the fault of being like a party band, because we started at college just playing parties, and so it never really made sense to play anything that wasn't fun,
Yeah.
So that just sort of became our sound.
It's also the kind of music we like writing and playing. So
That's good.
Going off the positivity question, you guys did last year. You did over 150 shows. You do I think it's over 1,000 shows at this point.
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to keep that energy and that positive attitude at all your shows? Because I don't know, if I was doing 150 shows a year, I'd get pretty exhausted pretty quickly.
You definitely are tired. You have good shows and bad shows, but I think it's easy to be positive at a show. The shows are fun and people are there and you're playing music, and that's great. It's harder to stay positive when you're traveling all the time in a different city every day. But the shows and the performing, I think if you can't turn it on for that, you shouldn't be in the business. That's what I feel.
All right. I brought it up to you earlier. Can you talk to us about the Wheel of Torture? That's
We can.
Yeah, so we're 4 albums in, and we were trying to figure out what songs to play on this tour that we just did, and the conversation was getting a little long, trying to figure out what to do, and then we were just wheels started turning. I didn't mean to say that. And we're maybe we should poll the audience.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make a wheel. And then
So I looked online for a dry erase wheel. It existed. We bought it. Came. Then so we put on a bunch of songs that we would otherwise never play, and then we were doing we call it Hold It In Supreme, which is what's on Hold It In, but where we switched instruments that we're not good at playing and still try to play it. And then we were talking earlier about Steve's Choice. Was one of them, and if there was a guy named Steve in the audience and it happened to land, then he would get to pick the song.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you guys gone on tour with a bunch of different artists. I know you played with Guster for a while, a few years back. I feel you also opened a show for the Bare Naked Ladies at one point. Do you guys have any favorite memories of touring with those bands, or just any good interactions with them?
Both the bands you just mentioned are really nice people.
Yeah.
So we just really like.
The main difference between Guster and Bare Naked Ladies is that we have not seen the genitalia of any of the members of Guster. We have seen the genitalia of a number of the members of Bare Naked Ladies.
Wow.
All right.
That's probably the biggest difference for me.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. That's fine. It's just a difference.
It's an average difference.
Do you guys have a most embarrassing onstage moment?
Lots of them.
This is going to be weird, but my most embarrassing that sticks out of my mind. We used to play this sequence of songs from our first record that was about the apocalypse. And I was introducing it at a show, and we were opening for Ben Folds, so it wasn't our crowd. And my brain synapses just weren't working, and I flipped the words apocalypse and Holocaust. Do you guys not remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I blocked it.
It was at Tufts University. I'll never forget that show. Because then I had to be no, but I'm Jewish and I don't know. It was bad.
All right.
It was bad.
Any other ones?
The fly was down the other night.
I did a whole show with Fly Down.
Oh. I've been to a show like
Once I was really sick and I farted on stage, and then
that.
no one knew, and afterwards someone tweeted, "The show is great except for whoever was ripping at it." in the front row." So, sorry.
Alright.
Jesse just got uncomfortable.
Well, that's an embarrassing
Yeah.
moment.
And then there was the Chicago show where we'd come out there and it's a sold out show in front of about 1,200 people, and we come out and Ben's keyboard just doesn't work. It doesn't turn on.
That's less embarrassing than just annoying. I mean,
Yeah.
shit breaks for us all
Yeah.
the time. Oh, this is radio. Stuff breaks.
Yeah.
We're fine. Exactly. But yeah, like you guys said, like you've just released your 4th album last year. So why did you decide to like self-title that album, like with Jukebox the Ghost?
It felt like we spent so much time working on it, and it felt in a way like a reinvention or a sort of a distillation of who we were, and for whatever reason, it made sense for the record that we made, and sort of a reassertion of this is who we are.
And then on that, you also included a solo, piano version of the album,
Yeah.
and we were curious about that. So
that happened. So we ended up switching labels in the middle of this record coming out, and so when we switched labels, the new label Cherry Tree wanted to do something special and suggested that I could just do piano versions of a bunch of songs on the record, and so I went in and spent a day and just did improvised classical jazz piano versions of each of the songs, and they put it out, which is great.
Yeah, and you talked about in an interview once how like when you were first starting the band, you could have either gone like more the synth route, or you said you could have like done more classical stuff, and you like stuck with that. And, like definitely like respect that.
Well, I think I'm a classical pianist, that's what I grew up playing, and I still play it, and so that's pretty near and dear to my heart, and I like writing and improvising, and that doesn't often have an outlet, and certainly not in a way that people hear. So
Yeah.
Ben and Tommy, you guys like switch off vocals on like a lot of your songs. Like, so how does that happen? Is it just like, is it like a song you write you usually do the vocals for? Or is it just like whoever you think is like better suited for that song?
Yeah, most of the time it's like, when you listen to like Beatles record, like whoever's singing wrote it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing we've done in the past. But it's getting a little more fluid, so you don't really know if somebody wrote something 100% or not.
yeah,
But
for the most part, that's just how it is.
Also, like when you're recording an album, do you know which ones are going to be the singles, or is that more of a record label?
Think and then it's not always the one you think it's going to be, because sometimes the song will change in the studio and develop, and
Like we did a lot of research around you guys before coming in. Watched a bunch of your music videos. So like, is there a particular one you like really enjoyed filming? I watched Hollywood.
It was one of those fun days I've ever had, because everyone involved they were hysterical, talented, funny people, and so we took 8 hours of improvised, funny, beautiful material and put it down to 3 minutes. So there was so much good stuff in there.
that was the hardest I've ever laughed in one day. It was great.
It was really fun.
All right, now we got some questions for you guys. Be as I don't know.
Yeah, these are the toughest questions of the entire
We'll give you
series,
the tough answers.
Okay. All right. Start out a little simple. Would you rather fight 1,000 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
1 horse-sized duck.
1 horse-sized duck.
Yeah, I feel like I could outwit him.
1,000 duck-sized horses.
No,
is
1,000
horrible.
duck-sized horses. Absolutely.
Why?
They would destroy you.
A horse-sized duck would have a beak that's this big and it goes bump.
I know, but I feel like you
You
could
can see it.
in a Honey I Shrunk the Kids kind of way, like you could figure out a way to outsmart it. I think you could do it.
Look, it flies. It's fast as shit. Sorry, it's really fast. It flies. There's no way.
I'm just trying to picture like if it was out in the quad.
Horses, you just jump a lot, you smush them.
I think you're underestimating the size of a duck.
I think you're.
And the number 1,000 of them.
1,000.
Look, they can't fly, first of all. So they're not gonna be able to get above like here, right? Can't do it. Anyway, that's it.
All right.
Wow.
They're slow.
Yeah, I stand my ground.
A horse-sized duck, you're gonna die. You're dead. You're dead. That's huge.
I think
that's a duck.
I think you're wrong here. No way.
All right.
No way.
Granted, they could swarm. They would
They
swarm.
would swarm
The
you.
band just broke up.
The relationship is over.
Show's off.
All right, so really big question here. Do you guys think Trix are exclusively for kids?
Like magic tricks?
No, the
No,
cereal.
no,
I think
Trix.
they mean,
Oh, or tricks for kids.
I think they
Yeah.
mean like turning like in the streets, like prostitution, which I am very against.
Hmm.
We like an explanation if yes.
Are tricks exclusively for kids? Well,
Is
yes.
Oh,
That's the commercial says that they're for kids.
Is that still their slogan?
I forgot
Yeah.
if it's on
Still
TV. If
their-
it's, well, here's the thing, if it's on TV,
It's not
it
for
has to
rabbits.
be true.
Wow, bold statement.
Well,
So
it
you-
just
so you're
depends
saying
how
that-
literally you take their, because they're kind of giving you, what they're doing is when they, when the neighborhood person puts out a bowl of candy and they say take one, they're trusting you. They're trusting you. So when they put that Trix box in the grocery store, they're trusting that you are a child.
Also, if they said tricks are for kids, it doesn't mean they're not also for adults.
But does it?
No.
well, are they?
They're not for rabbits, and rabbits aren't kids. So I
Yeah.
feel like they've drawn a lot.
They've
They've
drawn-
given us an example of something that is not a kid, which is not allowed to eat Trix.
Oh,
Exactly.
it can't, rabbits can't eat it.
So you guys are saying, like, technically speaking, you guys couldn't eat Trix because you were no longer kids.
We could eat them, they're just not for us.
That's okay. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
It would be wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a moral. It's a
It's
moral.
more of a-
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One final question, I guess.
Hammering the college kids.
I love Bill and Ted go to White Castle.
Bill and Kumar, you just named yourself.
Harold and Cooper.
Oh, Harold Kumar.
Harold
Bill
Kumar.
Kumar. Oh, God.
Bill and Ted go to White
All right.
Last
Castle.
one.
Millennial.
What would be the name of your autobiography, as a band or individually?
Ben's book.
Very creative.
Hard choices.
Oh.
I don't know how to read what I wrote.
All right, well, thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks to Jukebox the Ghost, next ambassadors tonight at the Oreo. This has been the Alternative Rundown at 89.1 WXVU, Villanova Radio. Thanks, guys. Thank you.